Messiah Yahushua is the Aleph and the Tav. Many know him as the Alpha and the Omega, but he has more substance as the Aleph and the Tav, because he was a Hebrew, not Greek. In Ezekiel 9:4, it tells us that Yahuwah said unto him, and this him is the Messiah. He is the one dressed in white linen. He said, pass through the city, through Jerusalem, and put a tav, a mark on their foreheads. Now, beloved, Jerusalem is a metaphor for the bride. I need you to understand that this is a wheel within a wheel. This is a prophetic sign for the end times. There's nothing new under the sun that has not been. The Messiah will put a tav on the foreheads of those who sigh and groan over all the abominations that are being committed in the earth right now and not going along to get along. Verse 5, and to the others he said in my hearing, pass through the city after him and strike. Your eye shall not spare, and you shall not show pity. As for me, my eye will not spare, nor I will have pity. I will bring their deeds, their ways upon their heads. This is the Messiah speaking in these verses. Let us continue. The writer's inkhorn. The writer's inkhorn was given to a man in linen, in white linen. Who is this man? Well, I believe it is the Messiah. So let's find out. To set a taw, a mark, like the eclipse that was upon the forehead of America, is the same words that you see in Ezekiel 9:4 that we just read and Revelation 20 verse 4. And this is the same sign that was upon America on April 8, 2024. And this tav, it is a mark or a signature. It's a symbol of truth, perfection, and completion. It is a mark as a sign of exemption from judgment. This is a sign that you are in covenant status, which is the Aleph and the Tav, which means it's a mark, it's a signal, it's an omen, it's a sign, it's a flag. Something is about to appear. And beloved, these are all characteristics of the Messiah on what he is and what he will do. Beloved, we all need to repent and die to the flesh. Many are not understanding that concept. When I mean die to flesh, is die to everything that is not of Yahuwah, your thoughts, your perceptions. If you forgave someone, do not bring it up again, because that will count against you. And then thinking that you're going to be fine, but you will have seeds of evilness in your heart when you go before the throne judgment.
And I was pleading to God I couldn't see, but I knew it was total silence while I pled my case. I was telling him I reminded him of all my good works. I told him about all the things that I'd done, all the things that's what I was basing on my good work. I told him about all of that. And when he was never said a word till I finished. When I finished, then he answered me in a voice that sounded like thunder. It wasn't anything like the voice that Satan had used on him. He says, he started, I'm going to try to quote verbatim exactly what he says. Your faith is dead. Your works are in vain. The life that you lived and offered to me as a life of Christian service is an abomination that I rejected in the Pharisee. What made you think I would accept it from a Laodicean type Christian? In fact, untold millions are living the same kind of life that you lived, and they stand in danger of my everlasting wrath. Unquote, the living God. I couldn't believe he was talking to me. I'm a preacher. I'm a teacher. I just told him about all my good works, what I'd done, He said, you didn't do those works for me. You did them for a false God. But Lord, I was serving you. No, you wasn't. You served a false god. Then he named him. Satan's number one selling false god. S-E-L-F. Instantly. I knew everything he said was true. That dovetails with just exactly what he said in Matthew 7. For many will say to me in that day, but Lord, Lord, have we not preached in your name? Have we done many marvelous works in your name? In your name have we done all this work? And he will say, depart from me, and I will knew you, you worker of iniquity. I never knew you. You were never saved. Not that you were saved one day and turned you back. I never knew you. You were never mine.
Beloved, get rid of unfruitful seed that's in your spirit, man. Have fruits worthy of repentance. Being puffed up will get you a depart from me. Your perceptions, your silent attacks, they need to stop. Stop fighting amongst yourselves. Stop slandering each other. Everything's being written down. Seek Yahuwah while you can. Let us seek Yahuwah while we can, while we still have a little bit of shalom, of peace. Soon we will not have peace. Soon things will escalate, my brothers and sisters. Ezekiel 9:8, and it came to pass while they were slaying them, and these are those of the disobedient ones, those that did not learn obedience to their master. And I was left, that I fell upon my face and cried and said, oh, Master Yahuwah, will you destroy all the remnant of Yahshua in your pouring out of your fury upon Jerusalem? Will Messiah, the Aleph Tav, destroy the righteous with the wicked? Because this is the same thing that Abraham was asking him, because that's who he was talking to in Genesis 18. Brothers and sisters, we need to know who the Messiah is, the authentic Messiah. He doesn't play. He came as a suffering servant, the Ben Joseph, the son of Joseph. But today, we're looking at his return, and he will not come in that fashion. He will come as a king with a rod of iron, and he will come ready to strike those that hate him to his face, those who do not obey his commandments. Ezekiel 10, as for me, says Yahushua, my eye will not spare, nor will I have pity. I will bring their deeds upon their heads. Again, I need to make this clear to you that he will not play when he returns. When we cross the threshold of the time of Jacob's trouble, things will be worse. We will no longer be in his permissive will, but his perfect will. Revelation 19:13, he, the Messiah, is clothed in a garment, in a linen, sprinkled with blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahuwah. Beloved, we're trying to figure out who this man in linen is, who has the writer's inkhorn, who put the mark, the tav, on the foreheads of those that were set apart. Isaiah gives us more insight. Isaiah 63, I have trodden down the winepress alone, and from the peoples, the nations, no one was with me, and I trod them down in my displeasure. I trampled them in my wrath. Their blood is sprinkled upon my garments, and I have defiled my raiment. For a day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of the redeemed has come. Now, beloved, in the book of Revelations 19:5, it says, he treads the winepress of the wine of the anger of the wrath of Yahuwah Almighty. It is Messiah who will give the order to destroy you, and it will be him who will destroy the wicked. Let us continue. Let us continue as we learn the art of obedience. Matthew 16 verse 25, for whoever shall save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. There are two methods of attack: through deception, ignorance, and our lack of belief, lack of faith, through disobedience. First, there are some spirits you must cast out because you have opened the door and you're being physically attacked. Number two, there are some that you must overcome. They cannot be cast out. The battle is in the mind. You must overcome these temptations. We were all prisoners of war, but Messiah showed us the door. He showed us the way and he let us out. But once we came out, he gave us the key. And he says, here's the key. Lock the door. Don't let no one come in. But somehow, and that's all he needs, to squeeze his foot in that doorway, and then he'll pry it open, and then he'll possess you and attack your flesh. It is important to differentiate the two methods of attack. In James 4 verse 7, it tells us, submit yourselves fully in obedience to Yahuwah. Resist Satan and he will flee from you. This is the part where you have to die to yourself, die to the world, die to your inclinations of the heart that are of this world and not of Yahuwah. Die fully to the desires of the flesh, the world, and to self, or you will hear, depart from me. This is how it is, beloved. There is no gray areas. I'm not going to go along to get along. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. Revelation 12:11, and those who lose their life for his sake, have died to self and overcame him. They overcame Satan by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. And that is the problem that I'm seeing today. Many love this piece of clay that they have. They don't want to die. But in the first century, and even with the reformers, they were on the stake, put on fire, and they were ready to die because they knew to die is to live again. In the writings of Abraham, chapter 137 verse 8, this is Abraham speaking about when Yahuwah gave him a commandment to go sacrifice Isaac. And he said, I knew that was the word of Satan, seeking me to prevent my obeying the word of Yahuwah. Wherefore I commanded him to depart by the authority of the Kadosh priesthood in the name of Yahuwah. And Hasatan departed from me in haste. You see, beloved, Abraham had power and Satan did attack him, but he knew what to do because he was a friend of Messiah and he walked perfect before him. And so he had the power of the authority in the priesthood. And that is what we are supposed to do. We are royal priests. We are royal priests. We need to know the power and authority that we have through the blood of the Lamb to cast out demons and tell Satan to go. In the writings of Abraham, chapter 132, 3 and 4, it tells us something very, very important here. It says, and Yahuwah said to Satan, surely you have been abroad in the earth, trying the hearts of men. Whom have you found standing in his integrity, in his credibility, who should be further tried to know whether he be yours or mine? And this is spoken by Yahuwah, the Father, to Satan, to test even further to those that are Satan's and those that are of Yahuwah. Beloved, do you have credibility? Do you have integrity? And what is it? Beloved, your light. Your light is your integrity. Beloved, your credibility is your light. When you go witness and you can win souls for the kingdom, that is your light. And that is what Satan is more threatened with. It is not that you know Torah and that you know all this Hebrew and that you memorize the Bible. No, it's when you go out with Messiah in you in covenant status, fulfilling the Torah commandments and witnessing and bringing souls to the kingdom of Yahuwah to keep covenant. That is the threat that he does not want. He wants to put out your light. That's what he wants to do. Dark winter is glooming upon us, beloved. And brothers and sisters, I leave you with this word, the marriage covenant ring verse. Fear Yahuwah and give him kavod, his splendor to him, because the hour of his judgment has come, and worship him who made the Shamayim, the earth and the sea, and the fountains of water. Revelation 14:7.